Hello everyone and welcome to our contract drafting course, and now we will be moving forward with module 3. Now in module 1 and 2 we have already covered the basics of contracts. We have discussed the important clauses that we really need to take care while drafting any agreement. What are operative clauses? What are boilerplate clauses? Right? What are waiver clauses, force majeure clauses, time period clauses? Different type of clauses we have already discussed in detail in our module 2. Now in module 3, we will be looking into some sample drafts of very popular agreements that we usually encounter in our day-to-day life, and we will see that how all those clauses which we have earlier discussed in our module 2, how we actually use those clauses and how we actually draft those clauses in a real agreement. Now let's first move to the very first sample, that is NDA, that means non-disclosure agreement. This is very popular one, and I hope in your internships or in your day-to-day life you must have encountered with this sample. Now let's basically in this module we will be going through to each clauses one by one, and we will be reading out and we will be learning that how exactly we need to draft these different type of clauses in different type of agreements, because I have already told you that drafting an agreement is a skill. We need not copy paste similar type of clauses in every contract. We need to examine that what kind of clauses we really need to have in a particular type of agreement. Now let's start with NDA. Now NDAs are basically agreement which are entered between two parties when they want to basically protect their confidential information. Right? In that case, two parties enter into such kind of agreements. Now let's start with the first para of this agreement, which basically is the preamble or recital clause. I have already discussed that what exactly a preamble and recital clause is in our module 2. Now we will be looking into a live example that how when we are drafting an NDA, a preamble clause is written down. Now see, this agreement is made as of, here the date will be mentioned, between party A having its corporate office at the address of party A, which expression shall, unless repugnant to the subject or context, mean and include its successor, nominees and assignees. Now this line, unless repugnant to the subject or context, mean and include its successor, nominees or assigns. So basically we have used this line in order to basically ensure that agreement remains valid. This agreement remains valid even if the company changes its ownership. Right? Even if the company changes its ownership, in that case also, this agreement, which is basically entered by party A and party 2, will be valid between its successor, nominees or assignees. Right? Now, and here will be the party B, a company incorporated under Indian Companies Act and having its register office at the address of party B, which expression shall, unless repugnant to the subject or context, mean shall include its successor, nominees and assignees. That means in both the cases, if there is a change in the ownership of the company or the structure of the company, in that case, for both the parties, their successor, nominees or assignees will be basically liable to go with the binding nature of this agreement. Now, let's move to the second para of the same clause. Whereas in order to pursue the mutual business purpose of this particular project as specified in Exhibit A, the business purpose, basically whatever the purpose of this business is, we have attached that purpose as Exhibit A, because I have already told you in module 2 that we don't, our main focus is to keep our contract very simple and easy to understand. We don't, make it very lengthy and very bulky by including such factual information. All these factual information, all these factual matrix are basically been attached in the form of exhibits at the end of your contracts. Here again will be the name of party A and party B. Recognize that there is a need to disclose to one another certain information as defined in para 1 below of each party to be used only for the business purpose and to protect such confidential information from unauthorized use and disclosure. So basically when you read this particular clause, you basically find out certain things which are disclosing it. Number 1, the execution date. Number 2, the party's name, the addresses of the parties. Then the purpose, that why exactly this agreement is drafted. What is the purpose that both the parties are entering into this agreement? What's the purpose? It is that there will be a need to disclose, when both the parties are entering into some business dealing, there will be a need that both the parties will be disclosing some of the confidential or very important information with each other, and this information need to be protected. This information need to maintain its confidentiality, identity, and thereby both the parties are entering into an NDA so that their confidentiality nature is protected, right? Now, so this was your preamble or the recital clause. Now we will move forward to the definition of the confidential information. Now we have understood that why we are entering into this agreement. Now we need to move forward to the definition of confidential information. It's very important to define that what exactly are the information that need to be protected under this agreement. So it needs to be clearly defined, because if you will not define properly, it will lead to disputes later on. So now let's read our para 1.1.